Welcome to my world. Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm excited for this video. This is the new Modelones Polygel kit that I just got in the mail, and these are all the goodies it came with, and I have some tips and tricks to show you so you could be a professional at using polygels, because I know a lot of people are having problems. So it comes with the polygel kit instructions, which is very important. I recommend you actually read this if you're having problems, because if you do this step by step, it does work better. And if you need help, there's a card that comes and you could send a message to the seller. Okay, so I did prep my nails and I put a gel base coat under it, and this is the Cleaner Plus. This is supposed to be the slip solution, but let's just tell you that the slip solution contains acetone, and we all know that acetone breaks down acrylic, and alcohol also breaks down the gel, so you have to use a little bit of this slip solution. And right here it says use the brush to dip a small amount of slip solution, not too wet and not too dry. This is very important, because if not, this is what happens. This is what happens when you use too much slip solution and too much alcohol. The polygel breaks down, and you don't want that. So I'm going to show you how to do this in a way to where you don't receive and get any of that nasty white nasty stuff in your polygels. So you want to add just a little bit of drops on your little top, because if you add too much, you'll be more tempted to pick up too much. So the brush has to be damp, so when you test it, there should be no slip solution on your finger, but you want enough to where it's damp, not too much. Okay, so that's what it is. Size your tips first. These tips can be a little bit tedious work. I didn't really like them, in my honest opinion. That's only because I don't like dual forms to begin with. I don't like the way they look, but I kind of like these base coat, or you could use your regular gel, hard gel, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just putting one thin layer of base coat. First one we're testing is the clear pink. This is one of my favorites, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up not enough polygel to show you what it looks like and what happens when you pick up too less of the polygel. Don't pick up enough polygel, it'll spread too thin, and then the poppet, well, I call it poppet, the dual forms will not pop off because it's too thin. Also, it will be spread out too thin, and if you could tell, once I flipped over, you can see some clear parts and some of the color of the polygel separate, and that's because it's too thin. It's very important, because if you don't pick up enough, it's just gonna crack and it's not gonna last on your nails. So this is what it looks like when you pick up too thin. Flip it over. If you could tell, there's a lot of clear spots that are missing. That's because it's too thin. So we're going to pick up a little bit more, and I did not cure this yet, and you could do this. I did not cure this yet, and I'm going to do the same thing, picking up a little bit of the slip solution, tapping it on my napkin, and then pushing it back. This slip solution, it little goes a long way. You don't need to saturate your brush at all. So if you do it this way, you will always get a clean look of the polygel. And make sure when you do this, make sure you go through each of the sides, because sometimes these tips don't fit correctly on your nail, and that could cause lifting. Brush is a little bit different to where I got from my last polygel kit, different brand, so this is kind of different, which I really like this one better, to be honest. It's a lot better to work with, but make sure that you cover all these spots, and you could actually do these to all your tips and leave them down to make them settle, and it'll be better. So this is what it looks like when you pick up enough. I'm going to put this on my thumb, cure it for about 2 minutes or a minute. You could also flash cure, so you could go ahead to the other ones. So pull down a little bit, squeeze, pull down a little bit, and take your brush, your clean brush, and wipe off the excess from the sidewalls, from the cuticle area. It is very important not to flood the cuticle area with this slip solution, because it's just going to leave you a hard white line on it, and like you don't want to do that. So make sure you just take just a little bit, pat it down. Don't squeeze, because if you squeeze, it's going to come out from the bottom. Now if you look in the bottom, there is no little hill. It's perfectly thin. Now if you want this to, you know, be more, you know, sharper, then take your brush and like you could flatten it out. I don't ever flatten it out because I do this part and it always works for me. So I put this in my lamp for probably like 60 seconds just to flash cure, and then I would pop it off. Now when you pop it off, it is hard to pop it off, so what I do is I squeeze the sides and then I pop it off. And do you see how perfect that is? There is no white residue, there's no hard lines. It is beautiful. Okay, so moving on to the next polygel. This is the light pink. I really love this color. It's very opaque, but the only concern that I have is that because it was very opaque, it did take longer for me to cure. Now when you put it on your nail and you put it on the dual forms, it does take longer to cure, and that's because it's too opaque. So that's the only thing I had with this, but I do like using this with just a regular tip and it cured just fine. I'm not sure, maybe it was just the dual form that made it happen, but I did cure this for the whole entire amount, which is 2 minutes, and it cured all the way. So like if you flash cure this, you make sure that you finish curing it, because it might be hard on the outside, but inside it is still wet and you don't want that. So make sure that you cure it. And another thing, the polygel has a different consistency than the rest of them because it's more opaque. It's a little bit thicker, so pick up less. And I picked up too much to show you how far this thing goes. Like it was strong. You know, I was really impressed that I picked up that much, and it just like spread out, and it was really strong. I did not want to keep it this long. I was just showing you in this video that a little goes a long way. Just repeating the process like I did to the beginning, and pressing lightly, cleaning up my side walls, making sure that it's there even, because this could be kind of difficult to make it even, but you know, it's all right. So make sure that your brush is not saturated, because like I said, you don't want this to break down. And looking behind, you know, in the back of it, you can see how thick it is. It's not bad at all. If you want this to be extra like smooth in the back, take you a nail form and put it in the back and then cure, and that'll work. But it's just too much time for that's why I didn't do it in this video. So here you see that it doesn't match my skin tone. It just makes it, I don't know, I feel like I don't like this color on my skin. I think the color is beautiful, but just not on my skin. I don't know why. Okay, so this one was one of my favorites, and this says is bright white, which the company is going to change the color to creamy white because it's more suitable for the polygel. So when you do buy this kit, you might find that it says creamy white instead of bright white. And the reason why they're changing it to creamy white is because it's not as bright white. It kind of reminds me of the frosted pink from Young Nails. So I was really excited that I actually got a polygel that resembled, you know, that. Consistency of this was very smooth. It was definitely different than the pink. They're all different, and that's because of the different pigments that it has. So I really like this one. This was one of my favorites, and you can tell, you see that, isn't it pretty? It reminds me of the frosted pink. So I went to go put this on, and I did this one shorter because I was kind of wanting a very short set to start off with, because in their instructions it does say that it recommends you to have these shorter. If they're too long, they will just crack off. So placing this on the nail, I was so excited, but I was a little bit hurt because the dual forms, they're kind of small, and I figured that these dual forms will work better for me because they're small and my nails are like really small. But I did struggle with finding my size on my middle finger. So when I did cure it, I did have like a gap on my sidewalls, and it really hurt my feelings because I really love this color. So I'll definitely be using these polygels on regular tips because I just don't like dual forms. And you see how it's crooked because it has a part missing, and that's because I did not find the proper size nail dual forms to fit. Okay, so this one is the clear, and this was my favorite one out of all of them because this one was, if you could tell, the consistency is very, very smooth. It was very easy to pull down. I mean, a little bit. You see this? It was so creamy and didn't stick, nothing. It was just like one time use, that's it. It went all the way down, and then when I cured it, it cured wonderful. There was no bubbles, there was no white line, there was just nothing. It was fun. It was really easy. So I will definitely be using this polygel, the clear polygel. I'll definitely recommend this one. The only thing is when you put the polygel and you actually spread it down, make sure that you do it evenly, because if not, you're going to have hard lines of the polygel. So I did go back and I did finish pulling it down, and then I put it on my nail. But you could tell how clear it is. I was really impressed at how clear it was. I really love this. And putting it on the nail, if you could tell, see how it was just very, it felt like it was thin, but it's not thin at all. And it was very, I would just say it was just very creamy, and it felt thin, but it wasn't. I did have a hard time adjusting this because of the size of the dual forms. Like I said, I struggled with picking the correct size, but when I cured this, I was so excited. And you could tell the bubble at the end, and that's because it did not fit my whole nail. So when I did cure it, it did leave a bubble at the end because the dual forms didn't, it didn't fit, which it was kind of a disappointment to me. But like, if you don't like dual forms, this will work, which is a regular tip. So there it is. You squeeze and you pop off. And do you see how clear that was? I was really impressed with this, but I was in my feelings because I missed a whole part of the nail. So I'm coming with the pinky, and like I said, this was another one of my favorites. This is a clear pink, and I did not speed up this video, just to let you know exactly how I do it. Smash. This is just one time I dipped into the slip solution. I did not dip again. I just do it one time and I pull it down, and this is so pretty. I love this color. I don't understand why there's little glitters on my brush. I'm thinking it's because my table had a little bit glitter, and that's why there's little glitter specks, but I wasn't really concerned at that because I was gonna cover it anyway. So there, me popping it off, and see, now I think the pinky one was my favorite one because the pinky one actually fit. And excuse my little purple stain, I do mix a lot of acrylics and stuff. So this is the difference. See, this is when you use too much slip solution, and this is when you don't. So this is what it looks like. It's ugly, isn't it? And that's what happens when you use too much of the slip solution. As you can tell, there is no hard lines. In this part, I'm showing you what not to do when using any type of polygel. It makes a difference. Okay, so we're going to pick this up regularly like we always pick it up, and we're going to saturate our brush with the first slip solution. It's saturated, like most of the videos I've been seeing, saturated. Now of course it pulls down because it's saturated, and you would think, oh well, it's so much easier when you saturate the brush, right? It makes it even, it pulls down. This one is with the alcohol also. So when I cure this, you're going to see the difference. First started doing polygels, I did the same mistake. I saturated the brush because it was so easy to pull down the product, but then when I cured it, this is what happened. Okay, so this is what happens. This is the slip solution when you put too much, and this is the alcohol when you put too much. Now if you really think about breaking down the actual product, acrylic is broken down when you use acetone, and alcohol breaks down gel. So I was kind of a little bit confused why they put that in this bottle, but if you use a little bit, it's actually a great idea to use slip solution. So if you go to flip it over, you will notice that the polygel itself is not bad. It's just the amount of solution that you're using that's breaking down the polygel. These are great polygels to work with, and I recommend it to everyone. Now in this part, I did file on camera, but I just did this part because I hate filing on camera. I don't like the dust everywhere, so I did shape and file off the camera. Okay, so this is what it looks like when they're nice buffed and shapes and everything. I'm going to put some base gel because we're going to do a design on this. So the base gel that I'm using is from the Modelones. It's a base gel from the Modelones, and I did this so I could use the Sexymix, the new Sexymix gel polishes I got, which I totally love. And I will put all the links of everything I'm using in this video on the bottom. Okay, so this is what it looks like when it's cured, and we're going to talk about a little bit about what I don't like in this part. Okay, so what I don't like is how the tips are some of them are too small for my nails, and how it left, you know, a space between my sidewalls because I have diabetes and naturally I create too much oils. So over here in the sidewalls, it is a little bit, there's too much gap. There's too much gap there. Even though I love the way it laid on my nails, I don't like the fact that the dual forms left too much space. And that's just my own preference. I don't like dual forms to begin with. So if you don't mind doing this, you could probably go back with your polygel and just cover that up. But I didn't because I only did these nails for the video. The clear I really loved, but like I told you, I had to go back with the polygel on top to cover it, and it just left bubbles. So you see those little bubbles there? I did not like that at all. And the reason why there was bubbles is because I put the polygel on top of the dual forms, and the dual form was a little bit too shiny. So I should have buffed that out before I put it on top. But over here in this end, this one was okay, but I felt like it was too much on my sidewalls, and it almost looked like it was overlapping my skin, and that's why it's red over here. I don't like that at all, and that's only not because of the polygel, that's because of the dual form. So if you have little fingers like me, you might experience some type of issues, but if you do, just go ahead with the same amount of polygel and put it on top, but make sure you buff it first. On the bottom, it was okay. I did not have any hard lines, no bumps. The only one I had bumps on was that pink. The pink was the one that gave me the most bumpy, but then I took my gel under it and I filed it, and it was okay. So above all, I really love these polygels. I love the brush, I love the slip solution. You have to use it the right way, but I don't like the dual forms. But that's just me. I don't like any dual forms. It's just me. Okay, so moving on to the Sexymix gel polish that I just got today in the mail. I really love these. It comes with a book, instructions, some steps and advice, and then it comes with some gel polish, little stickers, swatches that you put on top of the bottle, which I didn't know that's what it was for. Thanks to Poofy, she told me. But yes, so these are the bottles. They're not too small, but I really prefer them to be in this size because if they're too big, then I don't really get to use them and they just go to waste anyway. So this is the color. Oh my god, I love this pink. It's so creamy, very pigmented. This is just one coat, and I'm making sure I'm covering that pink pale color on my skin, so that's why I did add a lot. This one is the temperature change. It goes from a light pink to a dark pink when it's cold. Also one of my favorites to use. I love pinks. I really love pinks. I think the red one was my favorite. Also has glitter, and we love glitter. I love this one, I really do. Okay, so the next one is going to be the cat eye one, and I'm just using the black from this collection and curing that, and then I come back with the cat eye and finish that one. So this one is rose gold glitter. I love rose gold. It is beautiful. And this one you're supposed to do like a thin layer first and then come back, but I didn't. And this one's my favorite one. How many of you are thinking about like the fall already? I already know. Around like September, the reds come out. November, the browns come out. This is so pretty. I can't wait until like I do more manis with this and show this to my girls because I know they love it. This is kind of like a holographic glitter red, and if you could tell, it is so pretty and so shiny. Look at that. Shine bright. It is so pretty. Okay, so this I'm coming with the cat eye. I do recommend you put enough of the cat eye, because if not, then the cat eye will be a little bit sheer, you can't see through. So I did put a lot of it in there, and here it is all done. So this is what it looks like when it's all done. For me, not liking these two forms, I think these came out beautiful. I mean, I've never had coffin tips. I'm a stiletto girl, so I did change these up, you know, at the end of the video. But I really like how this looks. It is so pretty. Honest, look at these colors. I love the way the polygel I just love the way it sat on top of the nail. I just really like it. I really like it. So if this video helped you and you like these gel polishes, go on the bottom of my description and you will find everything you need to achieve this beautiful look at home. At home, okay? You don't have to go to a salon anymore. You could do this at home. And also the best part of this is I didn't get no heat spike at all, which is great. It's wonderful. I'm obsessed. I love it. I love that rose gold. Do you see that color? Let's enjoy this. The Sexymix is one of my favorites of the gel polishes. I really like it. Thank you guys for watching my video, and I hope this video helped you. Thank you so much for watching, and if I helped you, give me a like, leave a comment. You have any questions, find me on Instagram, and I always answer everyone on Instagram. It's a lot easier for me. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
Ooh.